Okay, thank you for watching today. I'm going to be going over how to do contact pairs. So I've got this unique block figure here. I'm just going to do a contact pair between the top two blocks and the bottom plate. So often with contact pairs, you're going to have two surfaces that are touching, but you can't really see the interface. So I can't see the bottom of this block and the top of that plate where it's touching. So I'm going to teach you a new move to help you see the interface between those two blocks so you can create the contact pair and then put it back. So it's basically the move command, I guess, in the modeling menu. So if we open up modeling and then move, we can move this volume. And it's really simple. You just need to know where it is, modeling, move. So I'm going to click both of these volumes here. Remember, hold your left click down. So click and drag around to find the right volume. So I'm going to do both of them at once. Now I hit OK, and all it asks is an offset. So I want to move it off of the bottom plate a little bit. So I'm going to put a -2 in the X direction, and it's going to move them both over. And there, now I can select the bottom of this plate, the bottom of this block and the top of this plate to make my contact pair. So remember, with making contact pairs, ideally you have only the surfaces that are touching will have a contact pair between them. Obviously on the top of this plate I've only got one big surface, so I'm going to have to do a contact pair between this whole surface and the bottom of this block. So ideally there'd be maybe 4 different surfaces that make up the top of this plate, and I would do I would do this surface over here connected to the bottom of this block and so forth. But that's not what I have right now, so I'm just going to do the best with what I have. So again, I would recommend doing contact pairs at the very end, right before you solve, and they are also under modeling. So modeling, create, contact pair is the menu here. Oh, let's mesh our model first. So that's why I suggest doing them last, is you have to have a lot of things done. So I'm just do a really quick mesh here, just for the purpose of the video. Okay, so obviously terrible mesh, not very fine at all, but it'll work so I can get the meshing, show you the mesh tool, so I can show you the contact pair wizard. So modeling, create contact pair, and then I get this guy. It's the contact manager. So I open up this button on the left, I click it, it opens up this contact wizard. So you can move this guy out of the way. So basically, this is going to have you on one menu, it'll have you select the contact, then you'll hit next, picking the target, and then you hit next, it'll open up a separate window that'll have you select the contact, or I believe it's called the contact. So just remember that when you hit next, you'll open up a separate window. So the first thing we're going to do, our target surface here is an area. We want only things that are touching to have a contact pair between themselves. So if we did a volume, we'd have nodes or elements in the middle of this volume that was trying to talk to the nodes in the middle of the other volume. So that wouldn't be good. We just want areas, because areas are touching, so we want areas to be talking to each other. So if I pick target, I can select the top of this plate. Then I'll hit OK. And now it brings up that same page. Now I hit next to go to the next page, and I'm going to select the contact. So again, it's going to be an area. I'm going to click the bottom of, click the pick contact button, and then I'm going to click the bottom of this this block here. Rotate around to make sure I have the right one. That's it. And now again, it brings me back to the same page, so I have to hit next. And remember to always check this create symmetric pair button. And then, material is one I've already set. There's only one material. And then if you want to be accurate, you're going to need it's going to ask you for a coefficient of friction. So if I have steel on steel, you got to look up the coefficient of friction for, steel against steel, that kind of a thing. So I'm just going to put in a 0.7 just for fun. I'm not sure if that's accurate or not. And then I can hit create. But if you want to be real detailed, you can go into the optional settings. And the one in here that I've played with is when you go to friction, you can use a, a static to dynamic ratio. So if you want to, so the one that you specify is a static coefficient of friction, but if you want to get the sliding down a little more accurately, you can put in a ratio. So if your your static, your dynamic ratio is always lower, so you can put in the right number to reflect that. Then I hit create here, back on the main menu, and that gives me my contact pair for those two surfaces. So I have not yet done a contact pair between this block and the plate. So I have to do that a second time. So again, you want contact pairs between all of the surfaces that are touching. So if I had done a contact pair between the bottom of both of these blocks and the top of that plate, then I would have had nodes on this block trying to talk to the nodes that were underneath this block on the plate. So only those that are touching should have a contact pair between them ideally. So the smallest surfaces that are touching, you want those to have contact pairs. So with this, I'm going to need to make two. So again, I'm going to choose a target, which will be the bottom of this block. It doesn't matter what order you do target or contact in, just two surfaces that are touching. And then I'm going to hit next. I'm going to rotate around. And I'm going to pick my contact, and it's going to be the top of this plate. Okay. Then I'll hit next again to go to the final page. I'll click create symmetric pair, and I'll hit create. So now you've noticed here that I've got, in the contact pair manager, I've got 4 surfaces listed, and 3 and 4 are together in a pair, and 5 and 6 are together in a pair. So if you've messed up and you need to delete one, you just click on them and hit this red delete button right here. So that's the contact pairs. Do it right before you solve, and then go and solve your model. I don't have any constraints or anything on this, but when you do hit solve, it's going to bring up a nonlinear solution solver, and it's going to have 2, possibly 4 lines that are going to try and intersect. You're going to kind of watch them iterate and try to solve. Basically, it's solving a nonlinear solution, so you'll see those. But that is the gist of contact pairs. So thank you very much for watching.